Welcome back, and joining us on the show now to talk about commodities is Kunal Shah from Nirmal Bang Securities. Kunal, hi, good to have you. I want to start with silver first because while the overnight markets have been good and we've seen crude oil gain, gold gain, many of the base metal prices also gain, but the best of the gains perhaps came in for silver.
Yes, there are two commodities which are fundamentally very attractive. One of them is silver. It is having a 8% deficit. The overall from last 3 years, this deficit is being rolled over, and now it is actually being felt in the market because we've been studying about the scrap supply, and that is significantly getting reduced from the domestic market as well as in international market. So I think silver is about to break out, and it is going to move up quite fast from here. Second, most important reason for this overall upside in commodities is the dovish. So yesterday, for the first time, we've heard from the Fed chairman, Mr. Powell, that now they may have to, cut the rate going forward in future. And Mr. Donald Trump is after Fed that they may change the Fed chairman going forward. So I think the next big move, we've seen a geopolitical event, but now the next big move in the commodity complex is going to come from the actions by the Federal Reserve, which will eventually lead to a sharp depreciation in the value of dollar, and that will lead to a quite bullish sentiment in the overall commodity segment. So silver looks very promising. It is heading towards 1,15,000, 1,20,000 in next two to 3 months period. One should go long at present levels, 1,06,000 odd. It is trading right now, and 1,15,000 first target, 1,20,000 will be my second target going forward.
Kunal, when you mentioned that you're looking at a very huge depreciation coming in for the dollar index, if you're down by 9% already for this year, what kind of levels are you looking at?
I think we are heading towards 94 to 93 in next 3 months period, because remember, Fed has not rolled over its debt. They have to service their debt. And now we are at that period where with the 4.5% interest rate, it is going to be very difficult for them to service their debt, the kind of amount which is building up. On the other hand, they are talking about spending cuts, which eventually will lead to more deficit and more debt. So already Federal Reserve's debt have hit to $37 trillion. To 1.5 years back, this was $35 trillion. In 1.5 years, the debt has risen to $37 trillion. So they cannot keep interest rate at an elevated level, irrespective of what is going to happen to inflation. I think the inflation mandate of 2% is just given for the sake of numbers. At some point, they will abruptly twist their and tweak their monetary policy the way we saw in 2019, where we saw 150, 200 basis point of rate cut immediately. So I'm expecting 50 to 75 basis of rate cut in next 2 months, 3 months, which is going to be very bullish for commodities.
Kunal, coming in for gold as well, and we're looking at a very solid consolidation coming in for this one. 3,500, 3,400 rather continues to be a resistance, but on the lower side as well, 3,250 seems to be a very strong support.
Yes, so gold's fundamentals are not bearish, but the alpha is not going to be made in gold, because gold is already outperformed and discounted. As per our understanding, it is discounted 50 basis rate cut. So I'm not bullish in gold, and I don't expect gold to move up sharply in the shorter term. $3,450, $3,500 seem to be the maximum upside. So in a percentage term, if you ask me how much upside I'm expecting, maximum 3 to 4% upside in next 2-3 months. On other hand, silver looks quite interesting because of its very bullish fundamental. So this year, the major catalyst for gold is the central bank purchase. I'm not expecting central bank to buy 1,000 tons of gold in 2025. That number will be at least 250 to 300 tons lower than the average of last 3 years, which was 1,000 tons.
You've talked about the higher side, Kunal, where you expect the gold prices to gain up between 3 to 4%. But on the downside, where do you see supports come in?
I think $3,200 or maximum $3,100 should be the good support. There is not a single evidence which indicates that gold is going to crash and go to. So I see, a lot of reports have come lately. Whenever you see correction, people talk about 2,800, 2,500. I don't think so that is going to come. $3,100 seems to be the good bottom, and that will be a reasonable level to re-enter long position, right, rather than entering it right now. So I'm expecting maximum $3,200 to $3,100. That's the downside.
Kunal, come in and also on case of metals, because overnight has been a stronger gain for these as well. I mean, I remember our last conversation when you said copper, aluminum, zinc, perhaps in that stacking is where you see many of these metal prices gain. It's been kind of quiet here. Are you still buying?
It's looking very bullish. There is no second thought. We have entered in a multipolar world. So what is going to happen, as per our understanding, the excess capacity in China in smelting in all of these metals is going to get weed off going forward, no matter what happens. Because if you see, because of the trade war and everything which has been going on right now, which has been a narrative right now in this multipolar world, there is no space for the excess capacity. They have to shut it off. You are going to see steel capacity in China definitely going to go down. Chinese copper smelting capacity going to go down, and they will try to focus building their more and reserve of concentrate. If you look at China's copper concentrate import, 5 lakh tons. So the copper imports of concentrate is going up, but because of the higher smelting capacity available in China, the prices are not able to shoot up. So, like what happened in steel, even in base metals, the capacities, smelting capacities are going to go down, and that will lead to a sharp upside in the prices of base metals. So, raw materials are the strategic assets for all big economies right now. They, in order to grow further in this multipolar world, they need to have a hold on the raw material in order to grow going forward. So metals like copper, silver, which are having a major green energy transition metals. So these metals are going to go up quite significantly. We've seen recently there has been a talk that copper is new gold, and I completely agree with that, because the supply side from the top miners of copper in South America, it is being weakening. The quality of ores going down. So copper, number one, second, aluminum, third, zinc. This continues to remain our top pick, and I'm very bullish on industrial metals.
Okay. All right, Manisha, thanks very much for joining in and giving us all of that perspective on the commodity space. Thanks. So that's what is taking place there. We need